Hello, and welcome to Twin Peaking, where I show my friend Jay Kirsten Twin Peaks in order of my least favorite to favorite episodes, and we see if she can figure out what Twin Peaks is about. If you find yourself enjoying the show, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And that includes to Jay Kirsten at twitch.tv/JKIRSTYN. That'll also be in the description below. Without further ado, let's get started. Hi.
Hi.
Do I do an intro? God, every time we start to get used to it, I start to forget.
Honestly, I don't remember if
think-
you did an intro last.
Yeah, I know I introduced new information to you. The fact that they had
Yes.
titles. But
Yes.
I don't think I did anything else, and we were like, yeah, so let's get into it. So with this
Yeah.
one, I can't say that I'm going to always do this. But I'm gonna provide even more new information for you, actually.
Okay.
So after these came out, a couple years later, they did like a rerun of it, right?
Okay.
On TV, and they had these introductions that were written by David Lynch.
Mm-hmm.
And they were these little scenes called the Log Lady intros, where the Log Lady, who I don't think you've actually met yet,
Okay.
would introduce the episode that's coming up.
Okay.
And they were written like 2 years later, filmed on a very shitty camera. And it's just her with her log talking about the episode.
Okay.
I felt like we should address that. Yes, that's a thing, and I would love to show them to you eventually. I don't think that they would be helpful for you
Okay.
watching the show in this way. That said, the one that's for this episode is Buck Wild. It's
Okay.
absolutely out there. And so for this singular episode, I think I want to show it to you. Are you
Okay.
good with that?
I'm good with that. Yeah.
Okay. So there you go.
Okay. Why?
They would-
So many questions. Oh my
Good,
god.
get them out.
Why is she holding a log? Why did they think that this would be a... Why? And also, near the end, the words drawer pull was starting to sound like not a real word. You know, when
Yes.
you say a word over
Yes.
and over again? Like,
Well, so
okay.
I don't know. You're from Canada,
Yes.
which is currently still independent.
Yes.
So, maybe it's different for you. Do you guys call that a drawer pull? Because we just call it a drawer knob. Like, we wouldn't call it a drawer pull.
Wait, it's a door. Is she talking about a doorknob?
Like for like a dresser drawer.
Oh, for a dresser
Like-
thing.
like-
Yeah, no, I would just call it like a handle or like a knob, door knob.
Yeah, okay,
like
okay.
Drawer pulls. Like the only time I would use that phrase is like when I'm pulling the drawer. You know, like I wouldn't.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I wanted to
Okay.
know if that was different for you guys over across the border.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. Okay, I'm questioning why she's holding the log like a baby. Like,
Okay, so
what
that's
is
your
the
big question right
symbolism?
now. That's
Yeah.
your big question right now.
Yeah.
Do these influence like how you think about the show at all, or what?
A little bit. It seems like they want to be more on the quirky haha side. So I'm a little. It ruins the tone of the because the show is so melodramatic. It is so like in itself. Does that make sense? Whereas if I saw that at the beginning of every episode, I would like just so many questions. Like what the it is intriguing. I will say, I'd be like, why the hell is this lady on my TV holding a log like a baby? I gotta find out more, you know? But that's it. That's the only kind of draw that has on me.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
You know, that retroactively validates me not showing them to you for the first couple episodes. Okay, where the frick did I? Oh, that's in the featurette, Scott. This is why this is such a nightmare. All right, yep. We are onto the condemned.
The condemned woman.
Yeah.
Okay.
With that title, any thoughts? What that could mean?
It sounds like condemned woman. The only person that comes to mind for that is Josie. I preemptively started my web chart. I put Cooper in the middle this time because that was a mistake I made last time. I put him in a corner, but he has too many connections, so I put him in the middle. And I have James and Donna, and then Josie's in this corner here because I feel like her storyline's going to be important coming up. And then I have Wyndham Earl and Leo, and then Audrey, Ben, and Bobby in the other corner. So those are the, if you want my thoughts of like who I think is going to take like the spotlights, I guess, coming up in the next couple episodes, this is the how I've laid it out of the different plot points so far in the show. So when I hear the condemned woman, I hear Josie. That's the first person that comes to mind.
Well, let's see if your instincts are accurate. Let's see if they.
Okay.
All right. And then in 3, 2, 1. The end.
There is some bullshit happening in the last 5 minutes of that show there.
All right.
Okay. Okay.
So that was the condemned woman. What are your thoughts on this episode?
Man. Ugh. The Josie storyline went from the most interesting to the least interesting based purely on the last 5 minutes of the show there. I don't know what to think of that. I like the Donna, Shelly, Audrey thing going on here. I like that.
Okay, yeah.
Which is the Wyndham storyline, which is over here in this corner. I'm happy for Norma and Eddie. I'm very happy for them. Good for them. Though I feel like next episode, it seems like good things can't happen in this town, you know? Like, when a good thing happens, it is immediately counteracted by something bad. And so, I'm worried for them.
Yeah. Do you mind sharing a picture of your notes so I can also ask some questions while you're going through it?
Here. I will take my episode picture. And then I will send it to you. Sent. There we go.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Less complex than before.
Yes,
it's just a lot of
complex.
Names and lines, which is funny. And also the phrase Catherine serving, which yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I think this was a very, they're setting up stuff this episode, so not a lot happened, aside from the last, 10 minutes with Josie killing Thomas there. I'm very confused about, Josie shot Thomas and then presumably immediately fell asleep while Cooper bursted
clarify-
into the room. Like,
To clarify, it's not super clear there. She died. She died there. She's dead.
oh, she's dead. How did she
Yes.
die?
That'll be answered later, and I'm not sure it's a satisfactory answer for you.
She died?
But she
thought
died
she
there.
just was
She's
like-
out of the show. That's it. That was her
Oh.
last time.
Oh.
That's not
that was
technically
not
true, but
clear. That was not clear
Nope.
because like it was like it was almost like she was so worked up on herself that she just like passed out from stress or some shit like that. You know?
you're actually
Like-
very close to how she died. Yes, she was so worked up like a rabbit that she died.
Oh my god. Oh, so I can X out Josie here.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
That is some fucked up shit right there. Interesting. Okay, so that explains how she dramatically fell and stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Because I thought
in
that
a
was
weird way, it
overacting.
explains her being in the drawer pull. Like, it doesn't explain it, but that's why, is that it's implied that her soul is now trapped in that drawer pull.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. Question then, what did you think that meant before I revealed that she's dead?
Okay, I thought, you know what crossed my mind? Is that they needed to fill the runtime, and so they just added like a flashback of her stressing out in the drawer pull, and that's how that's why they added that in at the end, and then the episode ended like that's. Yeah, I just thought they needed to fill in the runtime a little bit. Like, let's add, like, cause like I thought it was like an artsy fartsy thing of like Josie, like, oh, this is
okay.
her dramatic, you know, like adding, like, yeah, I thought it was that. But
Okay.
no, okay, that's interesting. That was not clear.
Okay.
I see.
No, that's an
Okay.
interesting interpretation of that. No, I don't mean that in any kind of way either. Like no, like I think that could have been a way that it would. But the part that cracked me up was you're like, Harry, you're overreacting. It's not like she's dead. And like he just changed her pulse and was like, she's dead. Like he did say that, to be fair, but it's like he's like crying over after realizing she died, and you're like, you're overreacting. She's not dead. And I'm just being here like, she has a touch of the death, actually.
Oh, okay. That makes sense then. Poor Harry. That makes me sad for Harry.
Yeah.
Poor Harry. I put a little sad face next to him. I also was, okay, the reason I thought it was an artsy fartsy thing, and I think this will be explained later, or it's explained earlier, is because
Right.
Cooper had like those flashbacks stuff. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is like a very, like, he's obviously experiencing some sort of PTSD of some sort. And so something's going on there. And then that is immediately followed up by Josie in the drawer pull. And so,
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
curious as to how you felt about the guy crawling on the bed, who you don't know yet, and the little person dancing on the bed to jazz music.
I noticed that the little person that was dancing, he was wearing one shoe was flat and the other had like a significant like inch platform on it. So that means that the little person has uneven legs.
Yes.
I noticed that. But
Okay.
that is the one takeaway that I pulled from that is, oh, he has uneven legs. Also, what the fuck is going on? Why is there a little person dancing on the bed? And so yeah.
So you think that's PTSD?
I think it's PTSD. I
Okay.
think it's something
I
like
don't-
something else happened that I don't know happened. yet.
This is crucial stuff in the broader show, and so
Mhm.
that's why I'm curious. I'm trying my best not to give anything away one way or the other. So
Okay.
maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong. So that's why I'm asking
Okay.
it in this form.
Yeah, okay. I think it's a PTSD thing. Like the person hallucinations. I'll make a squiggly line. Hallucinations. The person with long hair, I think, is someone that I think they're both people that Cooper tried to save previously but was unable to. So 2 people. Long hair dude.
Do you think
And,
they're related to the Wyndham Earl case at all?
I don't think
Or
so.
unrelated case?
I think they're both 2 different unrelated cases.
Do you think they're related to each other? Or is it 2 just separate failings he's had so
I
far?
think they're 2 separate cases.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's what I think. Hallucination. Yeah. Because it's interesting that it happened after the death of Josie that he started hallucinating. So is he calling back to when 2 other people died? Or is it extreme stress that it was brought on? Yeah, that's interesting. I'm wondering about that. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
I'll send an updated picture after we finish this.
Yeah.
episode.
And the updated picture will be what I show.
Yeah.
Any other large thoughts about it? It was a lot of individually good scenes.
Yes.
Didn't feel like
yeah.
it was doing much.
Yes, I agree. Like, they're definitely, like, it's all build up, it seems. Like, none of the characters crossed over aside from the end with Audrey, Donna, and Shelley.
Yeah.
But
Everyone's subplots were very segregated.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. One thing I do want to point out is Audrey is starting to grow on me a bit more. She on the first episode we watched, which was the last episode, which was 2 episodes that we watched ago. When
Right.
my first impression of Audrey was very negative because
What?
like it
No,
was like
I remember her being like one of your top 3 was being like the one person good in that scene.
she was good in that scene, but she's a terrible person for trying to take advantage of her father while he's sick. I remember I had that.
No, that was
feeling?
at the time, not to whatever, but like she was the one trying to save her dad, and her uncle was trying to take advantage, and she was
Right,
clarifying
right,
like, hey, if he doesn't get healed, I'm still the one who inherits everything.
That's
so you
true.
want him to be healed like I do.
Yes.
Otherwise, I'm still in charge. So
Yeah.
one way or the other, I come out on top. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I remember I had like a still a negative impression
Yeah,
of Audrey,
sure.
but I she's definitely grown on me significantly because of this episode. I think because of Jack humanized her a bit more, and she isn't like as cutthroat as portrayed when I first saw her. Donna, like I really don't like how the last episode ended with like a murder, essentially, like a death. And then the next scene of that plot point, I really don't like that the next scene of that plot point is just, yeah, I'm gonna testify for Evelyn on the court date, and then they're just having a picnic together. I really don't like it when essentially an episode ends on a cliffhanger of someone, like something dramatic happens, and then you don't find out the follow-up until later in the next episode, and it's not even like a proper follow-up. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's
Like,
interesting.
It's not even,
Okay.
I don't like that much. So that's why I thought that scene was a little like, it was important, I think, for James and Donna's character relationship development, but I don't like that. Like, I wanted to see something happen in between before that scene of, like, I don't know, Evelyn getting arrested or something to fill in that gap for me, aside from a throwaway line from James being like, yeah, I'm gonna testify in court. and then that's all they talk. Like, cause that's a pretty dramatic thing. That's a very traumatic thing that happened there, and then it's wrapped up by essentially a one-liner of James going, "Yeah, I'm gonna testify in court."
The part of me wants to defend that a little bit of being like, well, you know, after she shot him, she did start to lay out the alibi, and we had. But like, you are absolutely correct that, and I'm worried because that can be kind of a pattern with the show. We got they don't really do denouement very well. What they do is they're like, oh, we got to the climax and we're on to the next
and then
thing.
it immediately drops down. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I see.
and so
I
it's
see.
like, which is very much in the DNA of the soap opera that
Yes,
they've
yeah.
incorporated into the show, right? Like that's how soap
Yeah.
operas love to function. Is like,
Yeah.
oh, we just finished up this thing. We're not going to take a moment. We're not going to take a beat to see how that. We're going to go and move to the next thing.
Yeah.
Which brings me to a question. Do you
Okay.
think there's more James after this?
James.
Because he mentioned that he was leaving Twin Peaks.
Yes, that's right. He was leaving Twin Peaks. That's a good question. Will we see more of James? Is that like a Yeah, you're right, because he was like, I'm leaving. I gotta go. And then Donna's like, I love you. And then they kiss. Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. James, I do want to see, because he's an interesting character. Like, if I compare him to, like, Bobby, for example. Like, Bobby hasn't done anything in the show, so he's kind of like a nothing burger to me. Like, we need, like, actually, looking at my chart here, there are no strong, like, younger, I don't want to say teenager, because they're not teens. But
No,
like,
they are. To be clear,
they are teens? Like, I don't know.
I should
what how
clarify
old they
something.
are.
I should clarify something. James should be in high school. Donna is in high school. We see scenes of her in high school. Bobby should be in
Okay.
high school and is skipping. Shelly's a dropout, but should be in high school.
Okay.
Audrey should be in high school.
Okay, I
They're
see.
all teenagers.
I
They're all
thought-
seniors,
okay.
but they're all teenagers in high school.
I was under the assumption they were like 21, 22, like that age range, but okay, that changes things then.
Nope, they're all
Because-
teenagers, which is what makes
Okay.
this so funny.
I see. Okay, because, okay, I
James
see.
is like, I'm
okay.
gonna take off, and it's like, you had math class
you
a
have
week ago. Like, what are you doing?
Where are you going? You have nowhere to go. Okay.
Yeah, that's why a couple like a couple episodes for us, but episode 15, if you remember, there's the line where it's like, take everything out of my bank account, and it's like, you have $20. Like,
You have a nothing bank account. Like,
it's because he's a teenager in high school.
and
who's maintaining
oh
a bike.
My God. Okay, interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
'cause-
yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
In
Because like I
fact,
was about to
Bobby-
say,
Bobby in particular, he's like the quarterback jock in high school.
I see.
Not that it's
Okay.
relevant at all
was
anymore.
about to
They've all
say,
dropped
that
out.
doesn't-
Like they're not in high school anymore.
Okay, I see. Okay, that does make me a little worried if we don't see James again, because aside from Bobby, the only strong like teenagers, I guess, that are prominent in the show is Audrey, Shelly, and Donna. Like, Bobby is in there, but we don't really see too much of him. At least we haven't seen enough of him right now. And then if James is gone, then there's no one really left in like that age range of the show. So that's why, and James is an interesting character too, because he's kind of like the bad guy who rides a bike, you know? You need that kind of archetype in a show like this. So there's none of that. So that's interesting. Okay, I'm gonna put a question mark around James. Is he gone? Gone? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a little background on this episode.
Okay.
Like we mentioned last reaction that we had. This episode was the last one before there's like a huge hiatus, where it's on indefinite hiatus. It was
Right.
going to be canceled. Leslie Linker Glatter was the director of this one. She's like one of Lynch's entourage during the show, who kind of stepped away as well as Lynch when Lynch left.
Okay.
I should say entourage. I think she was like literally a protege of his for a little while.
Okay.
And so like her being back was a big thing. And like everyone knew that it was kind of not doing as well as it used to,
Right.
which is they're like, oh, during the heyday of this show, it used to be on like Rolling Stone with like the three beauties and Cooper, right? Which was like Shelley, Audrey, and Donna. It's like, look at how sexy this show is, or whatever. And so a lot of people were like, oh, the reason why they're bringing them together to have this plot line and to show them in danger is to get interest back in this show. Oh, the reason why there's the spotlight with the two people is because that's like, you know, people like this, we're going to bring it back, right? Through PTSD hallucinations or whatever, right?
Okay.
So that's why same thing with this episode also. It sounds like you think it's a lot of buildup, but like at the same time, they're ending a lot of plot lines at the right. Like it's like this weird spot of like the Hank thing. He's out of the show now. He's going to jail. Like they got rid of so many people, right? They got rid of Hank. They got rid of Josie. Thomas was barely in it, but they did get rid of Thomas, right? So there's a lot of that, like you know, maybe they got rid of Jay, like there's a lot of people leaving the show, and
I see they're slimming down the cast. I see. Okay.
Yeah, and so like that there is a bit of that, but at the same time, like how'd you feel? Let's cut out the end of the Josie part. How did you feel about the episode, right?
I think it is a better episode just because, like, as you said, it sounds like they're wrapping up a lot of storylines and there's a lot of character development, but I think that is like a really, like, character development is such like a big thing for me personally. And so I like seeing, like, my favorite scenes of this episode are of, even though they were a little bit cringy, was Audrey and Jack kind of like having a back and forth with them, and Norma and Eddie and Nadine and Hank. Like, I love like just having character moments interacting with each other is like a big thing for me. And so because of that, I like this episode more than like the big, you know, like big things happening. You know, big things happening are great at the end when the buildup is there, which is why I love buildup so much. Like, for example, this is the first time that I've ever seen Audrey, Donna, and Shelley interact with each other in the same scene, and I really like seeing the three girls like kind of come together at the end there. I really like seeing that, and so like that's why I think this is a better episode, just because it like it like in all, like, I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but like nothing really happened, right? Like nothing
there was
big happened
besides the ending.
Josie
there was like no bombastic thing. That it was all dread and build up.
Yeah, exactly. But I was like very invested the entire time. Like I didn't feel like there was like the elevator scene between Andrew and Thomas. Like you mentioned it while we were watching it, but I did really like that scene a lot. But it was just two people talking, you know? And
I love that shit of like anytime there's like a confrontation scene like that where it's not like where it's like, oh hi, and we're revealing information, but it's just us talking in an interesting way. And like what I particularly love about that is like we have the context of knowing that like Andrew is lying to Thomas to get them to kill each other, to get Thomas and Josie to, you know, and take care of stuff. And we're like, oh, we see this plot unfolding, but like because we have additional information and we're seeing how like they're able to do this via conversation to set up what they want, right? Like I love stuff like that, and I love any kind of I'm playing Persona. Anyone who's watching this probably knows that. Anyone who's watching this has seen me play Persona. And so, but like I talked about it recently because I just recently had the scene in Royal, so I can talk about it with you.
Okay.
Where like a few days ago, there was a scene where Akechi is there and you're there.
Mm-hmm.
And Yoshikawa is there, and you're the only Phantom Thief there. The other two are able to access this mystical world or whatever, but aren't aligned with you necessarily.
Right.
And you're all talking around the fact that you're not necessarily ally, or like you're allies, but not like part of a
Not
group.
really, yeah.
And all working at different ends that happen to align right now. And I'm like, I love that shit every time. Like it has that same energy of like, we're coming together. We have to talk about this thing and work around it. But like that there's an underlying thing to it, you know, like that I eat that shit up all the time. And so
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. That's why I think I like this episode more than the last two that we've watched.
Okay, in which case,
Definitely higher up
I
there.
will tell you that I think that Twin Peaks in its natural form would be exactly for you. Because this is slightly, up until the end, it is like a return to form to a degree. It's not as good as like Twin Peaks in its like first section of run, but it's getting back to there because of a lot of the character stuff that you know.
I see.
There's a lot of that in like prime Twin Peaks.
I see. Okay. Okay.
Which is why, if you're good, so it sounds like you agree with my ranking so far.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
So far, yes.
So to pivot to that, I'm gonna go to why I'm ranking it where it is and where it's different.
Okay.
So actually, people like this episode a lot more than I do.
Okay.
It's still in like the bottom eight. It ranks as the 40th worst episode of Twin Peaks on IMDb, right? I'm ranking at 46. I think that while the other stuff is working well, and I love Leslie Lincoln Glatter as a director, I think she's brilliant. She directs some of the best episodes of this. She's gone on to like direct great television, right?
Okay.
I do think that the ending is bad enough. This is like the inverse of, I think, why I rated 15 so low.
Okay.
Right? Which is that like, and 14 is that like, those ones are just kind of like, oh, it's kind of bad. Like 14 I ranked lower. It's kind of bad, but they're peaks of goodness that I really liked. This one has like the generally pretty good and really nice and really enjoyable, and then just a absolute nose bomb at the end. And a lot of people, I think, are more forgiving of this ending, partially because of the way that they watch it normally, but also partially because of like everything else is a return to form. It is a promise of the stuff that they liked coming back. And but like for me, it's so not relevant and not a good I feel like it's not a good send-off to this character who this is fairly late in the second season, right?
Okay.
Like the second season has 22 episodes. This is episode 16.
Right.
And this character has been there for like the entire show. And this is like how they sent her off. Like there's the big reveal that, you know, she shot Cooper, right?
Right.
That was the reveal in like, I think last episode technically, but like in this episode. And like her explanation is, well, because you're FBI and you were here. And it's like, really? like
that's
you had
the best you can come up with. Yeah.
It feels like they were given the Cliff Notes version of like what this plotline should have been from Mark Frost and David Lynch, but because they weren't around to actually like say this is how it should go, they were like, all right, I guess this is what it's supposed to be, and none of it feels right. It feels
right.
I feel like that TikTok of like the woman crying where it's like, no, you put the square one in the square hole, and they keep just dropping it into the circle hole because it's big enough to fit everything, right? It's like triangle, and they start to, and then it goes in, and she's like, no, I feel like that with these plot points right now.
I see.
Where it's like,
okay,
no, that's the wrong hole. And take that out of context. I only have the two, and it's very hard to confuse them. But like, I feel like that, right? It's like,
yeah.
Like, there's so much, especially after this. I don't want to spoil anything, but after this, when David Lynch and Mark Frost really come back, it does feel like they try to like shoehorn back in, like, this is what it was supposed to be, and then that doesn't fit anymore because they've already ruined it. And so it's just like, like we get a clearer vision of what this was supposed to be too later, and that just makes this worse in retrospect. And they're like,
see. Okay.
And everything else that's going on is not good enough to cover for that, especially since it's not on the level of prime Twin Peaks. It's like a half step below that. So that's kind of like where I'm at, because there's definitely episodes that have worse moments, I think, than the Josie thing. But everything else surrounding it is good enough to kind of cover for it.
Okay.
So that's why this is rated so low for me.
I see. Okay, understandable. Very understandable. Okay. Well, I'm excited. That makes me excited to. It's only up from here, Mac. Only up.
Yeah. That's why we're doing it this way. We're doing it this way because it's always only up. It's always only up from here. But yeah, it sounds like you're actually lower than you were on the other two, because like on the other two you were like very like yay, or like I'm enjoying this, and this one you're like whatever, but then you're like, no, it was a better episode and it was good, but then because it ends a certain way, it's harder to have that energy
to swallow.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yep, that's how I feel about it for sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little while before we get any resolution to what just happened either. Because there's a few episodes that sneak in before we get to the next one.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, how do you think this is all fitting together? What's your prediction for where the show goes from here with the information you have?
Oh God, I'm worried about Wyndham.
Okay.
Wyndham, Earl, and the arrows, because like death via arrow does not sound fun, so I'm worried about that. I'm curious to see where the Norma, Eddie, Nadine storyline kind of goes, because like Norma and Eddie are like together now, so like what's gonna happen there,
Yeah, have you met Mike?
I don't think Mike
so.
has come up. Yeah,
Mike, you've only heard him mentioned like twice.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I should also clarify there's multiple names that pop up, so like I think we should be careful. There's two different types of Mike, there's two different types of Bob.
Okay.
Bobby, is how one of the characters is referred, so we'll be careful about calling him Bobby.
Okay. Cool.
But there are two Mikes.
Okay.
This is young Mike.
Young Mike. Okay. Young Mike. I'll add that in here. Young Mike. Okay. And then I'm curious about Catherine. Catherine has gone up in my ranking.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited to see
absolutely serving
what she's got cooking. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems very specifically, what do you think their plot line is going forward, since it seems like
I don't know.
The pivot point of that is
her brother is alive, and that's it. Like, what do they got going on there? I don't know.
So I don't know if you caught this part.
Okay.
But that whole Pine Weasel environmentalist thing.
Yes.
He was saying that that's the Martell plan for the Ghostwood project.
Mm-hmm.
Is would wipe out the Pine Weasel population.
Yeah.
So, Catherine and Arthur are the Martells, and they have to. They were talking
Okay.
about going to meet investors for the Ghostwood project.
Okay.
So maybe it's shaping up that they're gonna face down.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. We'll figure it out when we
Yeah,
get there.
yeah. All right. Do I have a sign off? No. I mean, I'm including
No.
your plugs at the front, and I guess too. So like, save the pine weasel.